Good evening and welcome to Here's the Life with Ed and Zemrah. And we have joining us this evening will be our special guest, the first Tuesday of every month. And we're really excited about that because we are going to talk with the guru on relationships. And that means friendships, which she is definitely knows about being a friend. So we're going to talk about male, female relationships, your siblings, your cousins, your mama, your daddy. We're going to talk about relationships and how they really and truly they can affect your life in a good way, and they can affect your life in a bad way. But I want you, first of all, to make sure that you like me on Facebook. Go and check my music out. My last CD, Love is Possible. Check it out on everything streaming, Pandora, Amazon, Spotify. And it's a great, great CD. We have Smokey Robinson's I'm Doing That, Cruising. I'm doing Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. And then the other four are originals. Love is Possible that is playing now is my title song. I wrote that. I wrote the music to all of it, but the lyrics, I See You, My Mister, as Pam says, that's a woman talking to her man. And You Are, which is one of my favorites. Pam always say, Zemrah, Love is Possible should be your favorite, but I'm sorry. You Are, anybody that's getting married, you need to check out You Are. Miss Pamela Wilks wrote the lyrics to those three songs. So just check us out. Check us out. So we are not going to tarry. We're going to jump right into our relationship. Matter of fact, we were talking a little bit in the car. And of course, as always, we want to thank you for joining us, Pam.
I always feel honored.
Yes.
And blessed and welcome when I am on the show with the two of my most favorite people.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So we're going to start off by talking about, and we were talking, and a lot of times, and we've dipped into this before, because relationships is something that I'm sure most of your talk shows, because it's like we just cannot get to the bottom of relationships with men and women. And why is it so difficult? And why is there so many problems for men and women, or mainly men, to be honest in their relationships?
She said mainly men.
Mainly men.
Yeah, mainly men.
I heard her say mainly men.
Yeah, and we know our producer. Her show, Wanda. I know she talks about these relationships too. And why are men so difficult? They have a problem with a woman telling them something without them getting so insecure or bouncing down on her. Why you gotta tell me that? Or where does all that come from? Well, luckily we have a man that is sitting with us that can kind of chime in to some of that.
I get the chime.
But
okay.
Yeah, because you can't. He don't want a woman telling him nothing either. Although I do anyway. But why is that so difficult, Pam? We're gonna let you start it out, because you kind of kind of take sides. I notice a little bit.
Oh yes, I do.
Okay, so tell us why you take.
I take on both sides, but I mean, I can't by any means tell what a guy is thinking. I can only go by what they have said to me. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I talk to guys all the time, young, older guys, different income brackets, different lifestyles. I talk to guys all the time. But I think that one of the things that we must do is to, listen to what the other person is saying.
Okay.
I mean, we as women have to listen to what a guy is saying and not think that we know what he said. Well, he didn't really mean that. This is what he meant. But that's not what he said. And I think we as women, we do that so often. And I can't say why a man don't listen to women. And I'm going to say what my brothers have said to me. Some women talk too much. Some women don't know when to be quiet.
Okay, so when should they be quiet?
When the man tell you to be quiet.
Okay.
You have been talking too much for him, but you have to know how to do it lovingly. You don't want to get into his face. If he tell you, enough, or he tell you, baby, no, then you have to say, okay, fine.
Oh yeah. I agree with that.
Don't get into
a confrontation.
Right. And then later on, you as the woman have to know how to come back with him. We have things that men don't have in our favor that we should know how to talk to him so that he can hear.
Yes.
And hear what we're saying to him.
Okay. So
that's a wise woman.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. But also, men should not have a problem listening to their mate either, their woman.
Well, those are the ones that have the problem. The ones that have the mates, because
you don't have to. You have to know how to approach. But I'm saying that it's just like, and I really and truly do believe this. It's just like they say, behind every successful man is a woman, because women are. Like we always say, women are nurturers, they're teachers, they are the reason for the season. So I don't think if a woman, like you say, if we use our womanly ways, it's not what you say all the time. And like Ed does say that, it's how you say it. But some men, even with Ed, and we're being honest, even if you say, baby, why don't you do it this way? Or baby, this or that. Well, they're still not, it's like they still refuse to hear what a woman has to say. And I think that's not cool.
I also think that sometimes women who are very smart, very intelligent, women who have been around a little bit, meaning they've been in relationships, I think that they should just let the guy do what he's going to do. Now, if he cares about you and you know that he does, if he wants your best interest and you know that he does, why do you think you have to tell him something that you think he don't know? I think a lot of times that's what women want to do. They want to tell, I want y'all to talk to me. I want y'all to talk back to me because see, I know women. Look, I know. Well, I'm saying that a lot of women try and want to tell men things. We're Ed and chime in if I'm right. Now, if I'm not right,
he gonna say you right.
No.
He gonna say that.
You're on the right track. You're right on the right track. Keep moving.
What I'm saying.
That's why I say, Pam, you on the man side.
No.
Well,
I'm ultimately on the woman's side because we have the treasure.
Yeah.
Explain it to
I
me.
got
and
you.
see what I'm saying about that is, why do women think if they know something, they say it to the man like he don't know it? I think that sort of rubs him the wrong way. And I say this, try it the next time that you want to tell him something that you think he should already know. Why are you saying it? Just let him do it. Why do you have to say it? You do what you do and let him do what he do.
Talk to him.
Because it feels like when a man, it feels like you got to tell me something. Why you got to tell me something? If you know it, don't you think I know it?
Exactly.
So I'm just
then
saying,
why don't he do it?
But some women say it before he could do it.
Oh, they make it a point to try to outthink you. Or to have you think they don't want you to think that they don't know, which is almost like a subconscious thing.
Okay.
So I get ahead of the game and tell you what I think it ought to be when I already know that you should know. So therefore, they like to take control of the situation. When if you want to hold on to something, you should really let it go.
Mhm.
and let it do its own thing, and then just observe as what to say when the time is right, even if you already know. But most women want to blurt out everything they know at one time and tell you everything they think at one time. And then most men don't like the sound of that voice or those resonance coming out of a woman's mouth because it's a tone that irritates a man. And if you know that, you should regulate that and only give it certain times. But if you constantly talking in the same tone, everything you say, he's not listening to. When it came out your mouth, he wasn't listening to it. Then you say, "Are you listening to me?" No. Usually, I just tell people,
It is a
I just
master
tell you the
that
truth.
boy.
If you ask me something like that, you've been running off at the mouth all night. You ask me, "Are you listening to me?" I said, "No, I'm not listening to you. I stopped listening to you a long time ago."
And he sure
Right.
will say that.
Right.
So if you really want me to listen, maybe you should study how to say it or when to say it, because I'm not going to
And
listen to you.
how you and that's what I'm saying, that you saying I'm on the man's side, but I'm really on the woman's side as well, because it takes two. So I'm saying that a woman have to know, and I'm not saying that you got to know when to be quiet, like you got to know your place.
And you don't want to come off like you docile.
Absolutely.
No.
Well, you're not going to be like that if you got a certain kind of guy. You're not talking about that. You're just talking about knowing how to communicate. And there's that word.
Absolutely.
There's that word, communicate. And see, what are you communicating to achieve? Harmony, peace, love, happiness. I mean, isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want out of your mate? So you want to think about that. I try to tell people, you know, think about how you felt the day you got married. Sometimes when you have an argument or when you storm out of a room or when, think about those happy times. How did you feel? Because it's about our feelings. How did you feel? How did you feel about that person? So you go back to that and then say, okay, let's see what we can do. Because you want to communicate so that you all can have an understanding, so that you can come out of it, so you both can go to bed happy.
Well,
Or not necessarily the bed. You can go to the living room. You could go to the kitchen. You could go to the garage. You can go anywhere you want to go to be happy. If that's where you're going to be happy. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
And that's what I
Resolution.
think it's very, very important. And we always say that you never want to go to bed angry. So you're right.
Right.
You want to make sure that you resolve whatever it is before you
the best
retire.
you can, so that while you're in bed, you won't be, if you bump up to the other one or you lean up to the other one, you won't get that.
Yeah.
You get that assurance. I mean,
well, we laugh, and that's
nothing
what
more
they add in that, but we can be upset, and we just wind up laughing, because a lot of times when you look at it, what you're upset about or what you call yourself arguing about, 2 minutes later, you can't even really and truly say what it's really about anyway, because it's really 9 times out of 10, it ain't really that important.
Well, ultimately, I think we're talking about is all relationships
Right.
have to be studied and have to, even with your children, with each other, with siblings, you have to understand who they are, how they evolved the way they are, what are the characteristics about that person, why they why they act the way they act, because there's a reason for everything, and everyone has the idiosyncrasies that you have to be aware of.
That's right.
And allow for it, and give people a certain amount of empathy or credit for being the way they are.
right.
So therefore, you don't take anything that seriously. I don't take life that serious.
Right.
Period. It's a game with us. We're learning as we go. We evolving as we go, and no one is perfect. So therefore, I have to give everyone some slack. Whoever I meet, if they are angry at me or say something bad to me, it's probably because something happened to them in their life earlier that day or that year. And I don't know what they've been going through all that year. So they can't take it out on me because they don't know me that well. And I haven't done anything to them, so why would I take it personal?
That's right.
So if somebody says something that's really hurting to you, ask yourself, where is that coming from?
Right.
And not just from them personally, so you don't take it personal.
Right.
You ask them, because I had people yell at me, get mad, and I didn't even know them that well. I say, so what's the real problem?
Yeah.
and they'll just
You
calm
throw that
down,
back at them.
and they'll change their whole demeanor, and they'll just tell you the truth. It's well, something happened. And so I know not to take it personal. So anything that someone says to you that hurts your spirit, it is not our desire to hurt somebody else or to be hurt. So we kind of protect ourselves. We have this defense mechanism we use that people take as offense, or they don't particularly care for me because they got attitude, but they're really just trying to protect themselves. So if we all of us get together and decide we're not going to hurt each other, then there's nothing to be afraid of. And once you lose that fear, you can establish an actual relationship with someone.
Right.
Someone you can go to bring stuff to, and you can talk about whatever it is in life that bothers you. And that's the kind of relationship you're trying to develop, even with your children. Get to the point where they will come to you and say, Grandpa, I want to ask you something. That's one of the best compliments you can make to a person.
Absolutely.
To have a child come to you and ask you a question, because they feel free that they can do that, and they have to understand that I can get an answer if I want one.
Exactly.
So, and that's something that most children can't get these days. They don't have an adult male or female person that they can go to and ask a serious question and get a serious answer. Because I'm a child and I'm looking at the world and I need an answer. And I go to a grown up and they tell me something really, really stupid. I'm not gonna ask you anymore.
Well, that's because you got babies
right.
raising babies now.
Right.
So that's
because
the
children know what the truth is. They're born here with it. They just want to validate it with the grown-ups. That's how the world should be. I know it ain't right. I'm looking at it, but I know shouldn't be like this. So tell me what it should be. Like I asked a senior person one time, I wanted to find out. I know things aren't right, but I want to know what should they be. What are you hoping for? What does the future look like that you're trying to get to? And if you can't tell me that, then there's no future.
Right.
Because if there's no vision, the people perish.
Exactly.
So I need a vision of what you think the world should look like. I know it ain't right, and we probably won't get it in our lifetime, but you should really know what you're after. If you really, if you really have the mind to do something, you have to have the will to do it. And if you got the will, there's nothing you can achieve. Nothing. I don't care what it is. You can have world peace. There shouldn't be nobody killing in the neighborhoods. If we have the will, we will change everything. But we do not have the will to do that. We just don't. And once you get the will, everything else means nothing until you get the will. Because once the will, everything changes. And a person, that's like a made up mind. I'm not going to take it. It's not going to happen anymore. I'm not doing it. And when that happens, your whole life changes. All relationships change when one person decides it ain't happening anymore. I'm not taking this.
That's right.
And that's the world should be that way.
well, that's the way we say the world should be that way, but that's the relationship with
But
the
then
world.
that's what we have to start doing. We have to start talking about it and then implementing it. And now
how do you go about doing that? Yeah.
You start in your own home.
There you go.
You start in your house and move it out to your neighbor and move it out to your block. Don't try to change the world.
Right.
Because you can't.
Change you.
Mm-hmm.
And once you change you, everything in your life changes.
That's right.
And everything in your life changes, that means it changed everybody who's affected by you in your life. Everybody close to you change. Or they change the way they treat you. And then they
Well, we'll say that because people are people.
No, but they change the way they think because you gave them a new thought and a new reality. Why? Because you changed. If you change, then I can change.
And it's how you show up. It's how you show up. And so you may have to be the yardstick in your circle.
You are the yardstick. You are always the yardstick.
That's right.
Everything starts with centered around you.
Mm-hmm.
From you out.
See, we talked about that last time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But people have to be careful. And when you say centered around you, you have to explain that, Pam, when you say centered around
the people that are in your close environment, your parents, your children, your friends, the people that you work with, the people that you worship with, your neighbors. It's how you act. We moved where we are in our neighborhood about 3 years ago. And on our block, we have the nicest neighbors. I mean, the young lady next door across the street came over She was so nice. Next on the right side, on the left side, the people, the neighborhood is just full of nice people. Another family moved into a home when we were there. One family moved out, another one came in, and they were nice people. But it's because we were nice that our neighbor came over and spoke to us and introduced herself and told us a little bit about the neighborhood, then we felt comfortable with
Comfortable.
her. I mean, she was there for us for different things. Our electricity went out. She bought her that big yellow, I mean, orange cord all the way across the street to hook up our
Generator.
refrigerator. She had a generator, you know. And so you have to be friendly if you want a friend. You know, we always look into somebody else to do. We want somebody else to take care of us. We want somebody else's uh, approval. We want somebody else to give us this. We want somebody. What are you doing? And
Absolutely.
no matter what a relationship is, or no matter what the relationship is, what do you bring to that relationship? Are you bringing the love, the joy, the understanding, the forgiveness? Or are you in line with what the other person is bringing? So one of the things that I say that we have to be more conscious of how we show up as individuals. You know, we talked about relationships, male female relationships. Okay, that's one. How you show up with your children. That's another one. You know, some people are so adamant about a child respecting them and they don't respect their children.
Right.
Oh
Well, see,
man,
a
you
lot
saw,
of a
hear
lot
these
of
young
people.
mothers. You hear these young mothers and fathers cursing their little babies out.
Well,
Oh,
It's just
lot of people don't think children deserve respect.
right. I
They
mean,
really don't. They don't see them as people yet. So therefore, they little human beings who are really adult. But you don't treat them as you little human beings. You treat them as children. Children don't need to know. They don't need to hear. They don't need to talk. You don't understand. You shouldn't be around me. So they,
well, that's what now. Back in the
but
day, you know, you don't do what I do. You do what I
mm,
say do.
yeah,
You
but they don't act in a way that children can emulate. In other words, they don't carry themselves
mhm,
the way they should. And they expect the child to do something different. They're
right?
gonna do what they see you do,
yeah.
and that's how they learn.
Mhm.
So I treat children as little and very intelligent human beings who can absorb, and learn anything
Mhm.
immediately if you teach them. What
Because
happens?
Ed don't give kids no kind of slack.
No, they're not children to me. They're little computers. They understand everything.
They really do.
They understand everything. They watch your eyes. They watch your hands. They watch you move. They're
Mhm.
studying you. And that's how they get away with stuff because they watch your behavior. They know what I can tell you. They know what if I tell you something, you believe it. And they go, "Oh, that was easy. Let me tell them something else,"
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
they're learning as they go. So I don't give it. I let children know. I know exactly where you've been because I've been there already. You're not getting away with anything. Do like I tell you.
Right.
So
So
do exactly like I tell you, and we'll be all right. And then you have to enforce it. You can if you make a promise to a child, keep it.
oh, that's very
Right.
important.
That's
Very.
right.
If you make any kind of promise,
Say
keep it.
what you mean and mean what you
So
say.
if I say that I'm going to chastise you, it's going to be pain involved if you do that again. I got to keep my promise. So it's not that if I want to do it, it's that I already made a promise, and I got to keep my promise, no matter what. Even no matter how inconvenient it is to me, I have to keep my promise.
Now, Pam, tell us a little bit about what you think the value is, because you hear so much uh, stress and strain on relationships with, uh, say, your son or your daughter. Tell us a little bit about your opinion, because you have such a wonderful relationship with your mom, and you had a beautiful relationship with your dad. What talk about the value of having a relationship with a parent and the importance of that, because there's so many young people. I mean, it's amazing sometimes where the relationship that even young people have with their parents is just not present. It's just unbelievable.
Well, for me, it goes back to the relationship with the parent, how the parent was with the child, the children. How were they raised? You know, and we understand that today there's so many young people 17, 18, 19 and younger, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, having children, and they have not had a lot of responsibility on themselves. A child is an enormous responsibility.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, even when you're in your 30s and you marry and then you wait 2 years and have kids, it's a tremendous thing because you are shaping the life of another human being. You are molding another human being. So again, I can't stress enough personal responsibility. I just can't. If you're a parent and you have a kid, you're you're second, you're third. You've got to give your time and your energies and everything to that kid, to raising that child. But imagine if you weren't raised, if you had a childhood that didn't know love. Your parents never said that they love you or showed that they love you. Didn't spend the time with you, didn't do things with you, didn't train you. So you're not going to know. You're not going to know what to do in certain situations. The only reason that I'm number 2 of 6. I tell anybody I had an awesome childhood. I really did.
I did too.
And people
You had
tell me,
fun.
"Oh, I had fun." And
See now there are people out here now who are just as jealous as they can be.
they don't
Her
have to
childhood
be,
had fun.
because
Mine was terrible.
yes, but I heard someone say you have to play the cards you dealt. That's all you have in your hand.
Right.
Is the cards that
That
you're
you're dealt.
that you're dealt. So you have to play it, but you got to figure out how to do that. And we were talking earlier. You are the way you are because of your childhood.
Yes.
Right.
So young people that are having children, if you didn't have a good childhood, would you try to give your kid a good childhood? Well, I don't know what is
You
a
don't know
good
what it looks
childhood.
like.
Well, you know what you don't like. You know what your mama or your daddy did or didn't do that you didn't
You
like.
should do the
Try
opposite.
to do something different with your kid. Think.
Flip the script.
Yes.
Do that which you missed.
That you say you
be
missed.
that which you didn't have.
That's it. So I mean, I had a good childhood. I was just talking to some young people in my family this past weekend. Um, you know, young people today, because of the dynamics of family, has changed.
Mhm.
There there may not be a father in the home every single day. My dad was in the home.
Mine too.
My mom, she didn't go to work until my youngest sister was 5 years old, went to kindergarten. So she was at home, and that was the 50s. I'm a baby boomer.
Yeah,
So our
well,
lives were different then.
The different thing is that the good thing is that my dad was always around. The bad thing was my dad was always around. So it was
Don't
kind
know
of
about your dad.
it was a mixed bag.
But see, then you turn out to be what? See,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
You don't let,
This
because
man right
even
here.
just like with my goddaughter, I mean, the way she feels about things in life, whatever struggles you have, you don't allow it to define who you become.
But that's
Regardless
all
of
that you
what
could do. What you have to do is to. I think people don't pay attention. So if you could pay attention to what's going on in your life, then you can adjust your life. But you got to kind of know what it is that you want or what you don't want. If you know what you don't want, that's going to get you closer to what you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know?
You can eliminate a lot.
We're going to take a pause.
Yeah.
We're going to take a short
Right
pause
away,
for the
right away.
calls. We're here at Intellectual Radio talking about relationships, all kind of relationships, and going to let you hear a little bit from Love is Possible.
Yeah, how y'all doing out there?
my love. You are music to my ears. You are the beat of my heart. You are my joy, my peace, my love. You are the place my life starts. Yes, you are my inspiration. You are my happy. You are my tears. You are the sugar in my coffee, chocolate in my cake. Yes, you are. Now make no mistake, baby, you are. You are. You are the place my life starts. Yes, you are. You are daybreak news. And baby, with you I know I'll never be blue. No. You are the color in red. So bold, so bold, yes. You are, baby, you are. You are the place my life starts. Yes, you are. You are the wet in the rain, the hurt and pain. You are, baby, you are the place life starts. That's you are. You are. That is truly talking about relationships, man and woman. Those lyrics just, oh my God, that song
You
really
are
truly.
everything.
You all need to pull that up and dedicate
for
that.
your first dance.
Yes, that I mean,
First
really,
dance.
really,
Yeah.
that song just melts me.
Beautiful.
It is, and we're going to redo it because I love it so much. Redo it with a live band.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to do that. Redo it with a live band.
Oh, yes.
And we're going to do that. Um, Working on my holiday CD. I'll be coming up probably the first week in November. So these months are going by so very fast. Just unbelievable.
Like lightning.
Really. Because after Labor Day, it's Christmas.
It's Christmas. That's
So
it.
it's
We skip.
amazing how fast the time goes by. But this is something too that I want to touch on too, Pam. And we're going to talk a little bit about this too, which I don't know. We've never really touched on. But what is your take on male relationships?
Men to men
Yes.
or women to women?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Why do you think that? Because there are so many now that you got athletes and everybody coming out. I was at the doctor's office today, and the only way I could really tell that this was a male when he talked, but he was, dressed and right. Mm-hmm. So, what is your take on that?
Well,
Why it's so prevalent?
Well,
It's
nothing. It is nothing new.
But it's more now
No,
than
that's
back in the day.
That's only because of how we live in today. In biblical times, there was um, same-sex relations because they have it in the Bible that that's something that you don't do. So it's something that has been around. I personally don't judge. I mean, if that's what you do or you feel that, I mean, I can't do anything but respect other people and the way that they feel about certain things, because it's too much. I've heard too many horror stories about people who aren't accepted, young people who aren't accepted because of what somebody else say, think, or feel. No one's in your own heart. No one's in your own feeling. I mean, can you imagine a child that's feeling this way, feeling a young man feeling, and this is what I do. I try to go into the other person's shoes or feel how they
Oh,
feel,
absolutely.
but a child, oh, I just,
Because some people they
it's
say are
just so,
born like that, and it's
of
just
course
it
they
is what it
are. Of
is.
course they are. People are born that way. Now, some people it's a choice. And there again, I mean, if you want to choose it, just don't make it seem like if I don't agree with you, then something is wrong with me. I shouldn't feel like since you don't agree with me, something's wrong with you. There again, it goes back to how you relate to people. Um, I think it's a hard thing for a child or even an adult to be different. I mean, to be different from everybody that you know. You in your
Or
heart
to
know
be
that you're
made to
different.
feel different.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're different than somebody else, you're gonna feel a certain way. You know, we are always judging. Oh, they too short. Oh, I'm so tall. You'll see tall people sometimes scrunching. You'll see short people pull up. We've got the light skin, dark skin. We've got the keen nose, the full lips. We've got everything that we're different. And if you're not like me, then something is wrong with you. Going back to, I think we have to be more careful on how we look at people. I don't like the thing when people say, I don't see color. Of course, you see color because color is there. It's how you treat that person who is just different than you.
I mean, it's really
But
not
not
though.
really different.
Not really
Because we
different.
Well,
are
I mean, just by the color of your skin, that we look different, but that could be the,
But
the
we
only
should we
thing.
should try to or endeavor to seek out the things that we have in common.
okay,
Exactly,
so let
Ed.
me ask you this
Exactly.
then. Why do you think that men turn to men?
They don't turn. They but most of them are born that way.
Right.
If you have a confused world and a confused society, and the people are confused, then your children are going to come out confused. Everything you do on this planet affects the rest of the universe. Every feeling, every anger, every heartbreak that goes through the ethers and out to the universe, the rest of the universe feels it because everything is being felt by the rest of the universe. If we have confusion on this planet, guess what? Every cell in your body is going to be confused. You're going to be beset with disease and all kind of trauma, war and rumors of wars. That's why the revelations in the Bible can tell you what's going to happen because I can tell you by the way you act and what you're going through exactly what's going to happen to you. You can do that easy with anybody if you know their mindset. I can tell you what's going to happen. So your children are going to be born confused. My rule of thumb is that yes, it goes uh, it's skew or contrary to what nature says because the way I judge things is if everybody did it, what would be the result? If everybody did it, if everybody didn't, that would be the result. The result would be there was be no procreation. So it's not a normal thing. It was not designed that way. So to treat it like it's normal, that's a mistake. And to treat it like it's an abomination, that's a mistake too. But they're people. And since I didn't create anybody, I can't judge.
Exactly.
If I'm not in the creating business. I'm not in the gene splicing or DNA changing business either. But somebody else is. So therefore, that happens, it happens. You have to, as people, we have to treat people as human beings.
That's it.
And once you treat people as human, they won't have to go out of their way to try to prove who they are or
Right.
try to be like something they're really not, or try to be like a woman and they really a man. And women don't even act that way.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So I have no opinion about whether they're okay or not because it's not my business. It's not under my control or my decision to decide what they are. They are what they are. Like I am what I am.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do think that it's very important, I think, and I listen to, a lot of the conversations around that. I think it's very important that they be true to themselves. I
Well,
think that's
yes.
good
well,
that they
that's the
that they
entire
be
world.
comfortable and that they admit who they are,
That's everybody.
how they feel. I think that's
Everybody
good.
should do that. You should do research and find out who you are
Yeah.
Right.
and be that.
Right.
And
And
nobody
don't have to feel, well, right now we're talking a little bit about that. So I'm just saying, and don't have to feel ashamed that they come out because
Well,
this is what they feel.
because the world expects something.
That's
Right.
right.
This is about expectations. I expect you to be this and expect you to act like
And
this
if that's
and look
not who
like
you
this.
are, that's not who you are.
But see, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about how you show up. If you show up as a person radiating love and acceptance and understanding and validation, then that person that come to you is going to feel that energy.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think that we as human beings on this planet right now is about. What we should be about. I mean, who is anyone to say how someone should feel? I just my heart goes out to young people. My heart goes out to men who are confused, who's challenged, who's don't understand, who feels that the young man Billy Porter, he the
Oh yeah.
actor. I saw him
He sure
on
was attacked.
right, but he's gone through so much.
Yes, he
And when
has.
you hear his story, you can understand his pain. And I think that's one of the things that people aren't able to get is to be heard, is to be seen, is to be understood. And if we as a society of people can be more loving, see just that word,
Accepting.
and
And accepting.
right.
Because these are things that you don't control. You are not the
Right.
master of the universe. You do not create life.
Exactly.
Well, life comes through women, but they don't create it.
Mhm.
They don't know where that DNA came from. They don't know where the egg. They can't create the egg.
That's
It
right.
just came. It just comes from you. But you did not create it. The Creator created that. Whoever you think that is,
Yeah.
or wherever you think it is, but it's not you.
Mhm.
And if it's not you, then how are you to judge other people when you're not in the people making business?
We need to
Right.
stop. We need
You're
to
not.
stop.
I don't care
Mhm.
what you look like or what you do. You are not in the people make because you don't know how to make a person. So therefore, you can't judge another person.
That's right.
Whatever they hear, if they hear looking like whatever, it's not for you to say whether they're good looking or ugly or whatever. That's just a perception that you made up yourself.
Mhm.
That's reality that you created. And you decided and told everybody else, well, this is what good looking is, and this is what ugly is. So therefore, you go with that.
Well, we say ugly is your ways
Right.
because you can be beautiful and have ugly ways.
Well, you
So
can be
that's
what they
what-
call beautiful because that's what they gave you acceptance. But if your attitude, your spirit is ugly, you're just an ugly person.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
So I don't judge people what they look like. I judge what they do and how they carry themselves.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's my take at it.
Mhm.
I'm very accepting and understanding. I mean,
But that's what you see. That's why the good book says: get whatever you need to get. But if you get anything, make sure
You get
some
understanding.
understanding.
oh
Yeah.
man, that is
And
so
all you
key.
give, like, and here's the
That's
life.
so key.
All you give is all you got.
Right.
So give it all you got.
Right.
What
Right.
comes from the heart goes. What comes from the heart goes to the heart, and we always say
Yeah,
that.
but
Now
we-
that's another thing I was saying. You hear people say, "Oh, she's got." You say this. "Oh, he's got a good heart," Oh, she's got a good heart.
she's,
I would like to know
she's trying to
what does that
exclude
mean?
she's trying to exclude the basic activity of the person what they actually did. See, well, they didn't mean it like that. They got a good heart.
But
They
what
tried
is a
to
that-
good
well, then
what's
you
a
come-
what's
well,
a
then you
what's a
come-
what's a good heart when
Well, that's where
a
you come when you
person
don't
don't do-
judge.
Yeah,
yeah, but I'm saying you won't judge, but then you say when you say what does a good heart look like?
yeah.
What does a person with a good let me phrase it like that. What does a person with a good heart look like?
If it doesn't follow by some good hard action, it don't
Right.
exist.
That's what I want to know.
It does not
What does a
exist.
person with a good heart look like?
Well, what do you mean? What
I
does
mean,
a-
you say, oh, they've got a good heart. Oh, she's got a good heart.
Well, that
Okay,
doesn't. That means
but
that.
then if she don't act like she have a good heart, then why are you saying that they got a good? Everything else they don't do. They're not dependable. They're not reliable.
They
They're
lie
not
all the
sweet.
time,
They
they
and
always
they
they
still,
lie.
and a good heart could mean that they really and truly, and they're in the depths that they really mean well.
No.
When do they show that?
mean
that
doesn't-
meaning well?
Mean doesn't mean anything if you don't do something.
I
Works,
mean, I'm just asking.
faith without works is dead.
There you go.
Well,
If I-
some people take them a little longer. That's why you don't judge people. We say
I
that
didn't judge.
in relationships and you it's all about knowing. Now we did say that, Pam.
Yes,
it's all
but
about knowing who you're dealing with too. And we always say that nobody's perfect, so everybody has faults.
See, Zim
But
because everybody's in slack.
yeah, well, you can I mean, you got to, and that's when you know people. And like my mother used to say, nobody's perfect but a fool. So everybody has their faults.
but I
but
mean, I didn't say that. I'm just
Everybody has a
asking.
good heart too.
No, they do not.
Unfortunately, that's
No,
true.
they do
don't.
not.
Well, maybe not
does
everybody. Maybe that's a
Everybody
little
does
far
not.
fetched.
But that's my
I'd
question.
like to think that they do.
Well,
I'd like to pray that they do
okay.
because they really and truly mean well.
Well, then, and then I say, even talking about relationships, this can be family, this can be friends, this can be on your job, this can be whatever. I think that you have to be clear on what it is that you want from whatever that relationship or that person is. And if they're not able to do what you need and want them to do, then it is up to you to figure out where you're going to place them in your life. I'm not saying be mean to anybody or hate anybody or disrespect anybody, but everybody does not deserve a front row seat to your life. Hey, how you doing? That's all.
That's
Sometimes
it.
you don't say how you doing. You just say, hey, and keep on going. Because if you ask them how they doing, they're going to answer the question. And sometimes you may not want to do that. And that's fine. I don't think even in relationships, you got to like everybody. You got to be nice. You got to be polite. But you don't have to like everybody.
Well,
I
if
mean,
that's your spirit,
can
that
li-
you
but-
tend to just, that you just
I mean,
a
you could be
loving,
nice
kind
to
person.
people.
Everybody's
Yeah,
not
but
like
if you're a loving, kind person, people gonna like you, and if they don't, there's something wrong with them. So
Right.
you don't pull it on you. It's something wrong with them. If you're a nice, kind, wonderful, loving
Yeah.
person, exciting and woo woo woo, and then people don't like you,
Then that's their problem.
They got a problem.
Yeah, that's their problem. But when you got, well, when you, and what
my
you put
goodness.
out is care, like you say, love, peace, happiness.
Yeah.
Then
But
if
I
they
think
can't
that's what
return
we
that,
need
that's
to
on
do.
them.
I really do think that we need to start this campaign and be very conscious of how you show up. I'm going to say that, how you show up. How you show up on your job, how you show up with your children, how you show up with your parents, how you show up with your mate, your siblings. How do you show up? And then lovingly work with if someone is not showing up the way that they should or they could. Because like you said, Ed, they may be going through something
Mhm.
and they may even lash out. They don't really mean it. But then you say, now where's that coming from?
Mhm.
And you said lovingly, they're not gonna jump down on you.
But if you know people, that's the key, is knowing yourself. But if you know people, you know that people are people.
Yeah.
And on that note, our time is just about
No
winding down.
way.
No,
Our
we
time
just
is
got
up.
here.
It goes
Oh, my
so
goodness,
fast.
yes.
when
There's
you're
so much
with
other-
Pam.
No, when we're having a good time with these awesome people.
But we're so happy. I always have to say that we're so happy to be able to have a platform that Earl and Wanda put this platform together just for us as a people to be able to come and bring people to express. And we talk about money, and we talk about relationships, and we talk about food and vitamins and nutrition and just whatever subjects that we know that we can give you food for thought. We're so grateful and happy to have this platform to be able to do that right here at IntellectualRadio.com.
This is the place.
And that's all you got to do is go to IntellectualRadio.com, put in Here's the Life with Zemrah, and you can hear my segments, and you can hear this segment today, which I want to thank Pam for sharing with us, her wisdom and her knowledge on relationships, because truly she is a very kind, loving, and beautiful sister.
Yes, I am. And I would like if you would give us some feedback, because we want to change things.
Yes.
We want things to get better. We want to hear from you. If you agree, if you don't agree, go on Zemrah's website, Facebook, go on my Facebook, so we can hear from you, because we're going to be coming on once every first Tuesday of the month. And then we just want to hear from what people are saying.
Bring your problems,
your ideas,
your challenges, bring them all.
Right, because we could talk about them. Maybe we won't say your name. Maybe if you want us to say your name, we will. But if you don't, we won't. But I think we need to get into a real conversation about relationships.
The real problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all you have to do is just think, like Pam was saying, just kind of think. And just kind of give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself recognition
for showing up,
and just
for showing up.
Yeah,
and love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah,
love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah,
love yourself.
Yes,
and it will be so much easier loving others.
That's right. So again, check me out on Facebook. Go and download Love is Possible. Please do that and check out anybody that is getting married that share that with them.
Right here.
And with that,
yes, my love.
With that, we're going to let Ed
say right here on Intellectual Radio, where everything you ever wanted to know but was afraid to ask, you can ask it right here. I want to thank Earl and Wanda for giving me a place to be myself again.
Hey. You have a really good evening.
Love is possible when you believe.